Hi everybody, this is a multiple choice question looking at the average weekly nominal earnings percentage change on the year before, and it's also looking at the inflation rate. I've done these in different colours here so that you can see them more easily. So the pink line is showing the inflation rate measured by the Consumer Prices Index over this period of time. So the inflation rate, remember, is showing the change in the average price level. So the average price of goods and services in the country. And what I've done here is where it's 0, I've put this green line in. When the inflation, the pink line, is anywhere above the green line, that means that inflation is positive. We have inflation. If it was to go below, we'd have deflation, but we don't have any of that. So we've got inflation for the whole of the time. Sometimes inflation is getting greater, sometimes it's decreasing. The yellow line is showing annual percentage change in average weekly nominal earnings. And remember, nominal, this word, it's really important here, this is before taking away the effect of inflation. So this is just looking at the amount that somebody is earning, and here we're looking particularly at the annual percentage change in the average amount that somebody earns. So for example, here where the yellow line is at 3% is the annual change. That means that their nominal earnings, weekly nominal earnings, are 3% more than they were at exactly the same time a year previously. Here they are 5% higher than they were the year previously. Here they're 4% higher than they were the year previously. So all you need to do is read across on here to see what they're like compared to 1 year previously. Down here, you can see that the nominal weekly earnings are actually less than they were 1 year previously. At this point here, they are 1% less than they were a year previously. Down here, they're nearly 3% less than they were a year previously. Here, they're still less than they were the year before. They're 2% less than they were a year previously. So that's first of all how you read the graph. And then there are these questions here to look at, which are talking about how you interpret this data. So just remember, the pink line is inflation and the yellow line is the average weekly earnings. They want to know which of these can be inferred from the chart. A is, throughout the period shown, average weekly nominal earnings have risen. Now, weekly nominal earnings, we know that we're looking at the yellow line, and this is saying for all of this time they've been rising. That's not true. The reason it's not true is because at this point here, the nominal earnings were actually less than they had been the year previously. So they weren't going up during this period. They were actually less than they had been in the year previously. Here, the percentage change was positive on a year previously, all the times when we're above the green, but when we go below, that's not actually true. So that's wrong. They haven't risen all of the time. B, from March 2004, so about here, to March 2008, which is about here, real earnings were falling. Now, real earnings are nominal earnings taking away the effect of inflation. Remember, that's what the word real means. Real means you take away the effect of inflation. And this is saying for this period here, I'll just do it in orange. For this period here, they're saying that real earnings were falling. So when you take away the effect of inflation, actually people's earnings were going down. That also is not true. The reason it's not true is because for all of this period, this orange section here, the average weekly earnings, the percentage change, is higher, it's up here, than the inflation. So therefore, overall, if you take away the effect of inflation, your earnings are still going up because the percentage change in your incomes is higher than the rate of inflation. So they weren't falling, they were actually going up. The next one, throughout the period shown, average weekly real earnings have risen. Again, this isn't true because over the period shown, the average weekly real earnings, that means that we have to take away the effect of inflation. So in this period here, real earnings are increasing because inflation is less than the change in the income. However, in this period here, you can see the pink line, inflation, is higher than the yellow line. So in this period, the real wages were falling. And then in this section here, again, the pink line is above the yellow line. So real wages again were falling. So it's definitely not true that the average real earnings have risen over the period. So let's hope the last one is right. From April 2010, so I'll do this in another colour. From April 2010, so that's about here, to December 2013, so that's about here, average weekly real earnings were falling. Yes, this is right. This tallies with what we were just saying before, because for this period of time, I'll just shade it in, you can see that the inflation rate was a higher percentage than the change in the earnings. So yes, earnings were going up, but they weren't going up as much as the price level was going up, and therefore weekly real earnings were falling. So that is the right answer, D.